Thank you for joining us today, Danny. It's really good to have you with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm looking forward to speaking with you. I'm excited to hear about your journey as well, because you're 15 years in now, aren't you?
Yeah, so we're celebrating our 15th birthday this year, all ending in a party that we're having here at our workshop warehouse in October. So we're really excited about that, bringing some of our customers in to have a look around. And then we've got some local dog trainers coming to give some free sessions, and we've got loads of different things going on. So really excited about it, actually. And it's a huge milestone for us to have got from where we started to where we are now in those 15 years.
So tell us where you are now. Talk to me about the organisation that you lead, please. If you can give us a little bit of an intro.
Of course. So we're Tug-E-Nuff. So my mum started the business back in 2009, and she started the business because she competes in agility with her dogs, and she needed product toys. So for people that don't know agility, they like to get their dogs wound up. That might not be the right phrase, but they want them riled up so they're ready to run that course and do it in the fastest time possible. So actually playing Tug-E is one of the things that really kind of helps build that motivation to want to work for those dogs to want to work. So she was finding it difficult. She had a foodie dog, so a dog that was owned called Indy. Indy wouldn't do anything other than food, so she made a toy that combined food and tug, and we had a treat pouch, so she made that, and all her friends saw it and they really wanted them, so she started making them, and that was, as I said, back in 2009. We then started making more and more people saw them. She started selling them online, and that's really predominantly where we've been all this time. So I came into the business in 2013 from a previous corporate job that I had, and we can talk about that later. But then I started looking at how we could make it a bit more mass market in terms of not just appealing to those agility competitors, which is a niche within a niche, and then looking at how we can expand that into a more mainstream market. So we've partnered with a lot of dog trainers to help promote our products. We've evolved the product range hugely since we started, so that one first toy we don't longer make anymore, actually, but because we've moved on to much more developed products, and products that are much more designed for the market that we're looking to move into. So now we're a business. We've got 6 or 7 people that work for us in manufacturing. So we make a lot of our products ourselves here in Devon, and we sell worldwide now, really, to be honest. So predominantly we sell direct to consumers through our own website, via that network of dog trainers. So those dog trainers recommend our products, and then also on Amazon, and we do a fair amount of B2B through small independent pet retail and dog training venues, and we've just really trying to launch into the US now. So yeah, that's our next target.
That's an incredible story for what started out. It sounds like a bit of a passion project initially, to then 15 years later.
In my old childhood bedroom. So that's where she started. She had a sewing machine. She bought one off eBay. It wasn't fit for purpose, so that didn't last very long. And then she moved out of there into a shed. So they built a big shed in the back garden, and she worked in there for a long time. In fact, when I started, when I came in, we were still in that shed, and then we moved to much bigger premises down here in Exmouth. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a journey.
Yeah, well, that was the next question. So, thinking about your journey, because often, lots of the CEOs that I speak to, not many of them say they started their career and they wanted to be a CEO. Most of them, it's an organic journey, or they find an organisation that they love, or they find a path into leadership and realise that that's the career for them. So can you talk to us about your journey, where you started, and whether or not this was intentional or whether it came out of the blue?
This definitely wasn't intentional. Let's put it that way. So my background from very early days. I mean, I went to school. I didn't go to university. I skipped that. I didn't really have the best education through probably my own fault, really. But I've always worked hard, and so my first few jobs that I had were in call centers, where I kind of got a real bug for customer support. And I really like helping people get what they get the outcomes that they're looking for, and I think that's why this really works well for me. But so I worked in call centers for a long time, and then moved into debt recovery as a bit of a mortgage provider, which gave me some real interesting negotiation skills and some skills that allowed me to kind of look at people's situations and understand it from their point of view, because it was really challenging. That people, my employer wanted their money back, but people didn't necessarily have the money, so being able to work ways with them to repay that was really interesting. I then moved on to call center management, so again, new skills that I built up there in terms of dealing with people that work for you, how you kind of again look at their what both parties need from that relationship and finding the happy medium there. So I was doing that, and I was probably, I worked for a company called Computershare, and they're a huge Australian company, a share registrar, and I was doing quite well there. And I think that in reality, the manager I had at the time didn't really want me to leave, but I had this real struggle between, okay, I can stay in this job and probably earn a very good salary if I carry on working my way up the business. That's where all the signs were going. Or I could risk it all and take over this or start working with my mum and build this business that had potential in my eyes, and work for myself. And I took that decision to start working for myself. And I wouldn't say that it was difficult in the early years, because I lived on my own. I was living away from Exmouth, and I grew up here in Exmouth. I was living in Bristol at the time, and I had to decide, whether I wanted to give up all that life, that independence that I had, and move back in with my parents at the age of probably, I don't know, I must have been 35 probably, I'm not really sure, but I would have been in my mid 30s, and that was a really tough decision, but I don't regret that now at all. I think that this life has afforded me a lot of things that I wouldn't have had if I had carried on in that corporate environment.
Yeah, good for you. And in terms of the leadership side of things, then, so you quite quickly, I mean, looking back at your career and your experience, it looks as though you quite quickly moved into a leadership role in terms of managing the teams in the call centres, and then you're a team leader with Computershare. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I did really. I mean, I used to work for in mortgage arrears collections at the Bank of Ireland. I was probably in my mid-20s then when an opportunity came up to lead a team of people they were bringing in to call people at night, which was an interesting choice. But I think that it was one of those things where you needed to speak to the customer that was in financial difficulty, and actually trying to get hold of them during the day when they were probably at work trying to earn the money to pay back the mortgage that they were having arrears on. So we started we set up a team called the Twilight Team, so we would work up to 8 o'clock at night, and I kind of went for that job not really thinking I would get it, and I did, and that's kind of where I started to learn all the things about people management. And one of the things, because that was a financially regulated industry, there was a lot of things that had to be done by the letter, and actually setting up processes and making sure that people understand what's expected of them, and then you've also taken into consideration things that you might be able to do to help them, really helps me still now. So yeah, I did definitely, and that's why the decision wasn't the easiest to make, to kind of say, okay, right, I'm going to give that up now and almost start from scratch, because at the time we didn't have any, the business was still quite small. It was growing year on year, but it was still quite small. We didn't have any team. I don't think at that time. It was just my mum, and I think maybe one of her friends was helping her at that time. But yeah, it was a big decision to make.
Yeah, and so that experience of leading a team, that now, so can you talk to me about the team that you lead at the moment? Because there's quite a distinction between the people that are in the business, and then you've got another side of the business where you're using your leadership skills, aren't you?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of, as I said, we do a lot of one of the things that I changed when I moved into the business, after a few years, but actually changing the way that we produce our products into a more hybrid approach. So previously we made everything, we bought all the raw materials, we made everything ourselves, but that just became unsustainable. So actually we moved away from that and started having some of the stuff, some of the components made for us. And now we've moved even further to having full products made for us, but we still manufacture a small amount here. So I've got a team that are very much in the production side of things. So I have a couple of different managers below me. So I've got Shawnee, who manages our workshop. So that's where the majority of our in-house team are. So they work in they make lots of different things. It's all stuff that I don't really understand how to do. But Shawnee does a great job at managing those people. And then I've got Pete, who works in our logistics. So all the stuff coming in and out of the building, we still do all of our picking and packing ourselves for customer orders. So he manages all of that. We've then got the vital team below them that actually kind of do the day-to-day work and keep the products being manufactured and the customers getting the products. And then, I've dabbled in the past at some of employing people directly to do some of the more sort of soft skills, I suppose, in terms of marketing, and accounting and stuff like that. But what I found is that actually isn't always the best option in terms of employing people to do that, when actually if you outsource some of those things, and that's really what I do now for those types of roles, is outsource them to freelancers or agencies. You benefit from their experience in working with other people, and you get a much richer experience, and it works much better. So I've got a team of 4 or 5 freelancers that regularly work with us, and they are very much part of the team. I deem them as Team Tug-E-Nuff. So that really helps. And then beyond that, we have a network of dog trainers that we've built up over probably the last 6 or 7 years in our partner program. So those are dog trainers and dog professionals who recommend Tug-E-Nuff products to their clients. So it's an affiliate program, but they are having those relevant conversations with the people that buy our products, and they're having that more one-on-one conversation. So when it comes to that marketing element and actually getting people to understand, because beyond being honest, our products are expensive, and you need to give people the reason behind why they need to buy them. But those people, so those dog trainers, there's about 2,000 here in the UK. They're very much part of the team. I always see them as an extension of the team. We're always communicating with them, helping them out, giving them as much support as we possibly can. So we're just about to start building in some webinars, for want of a better word, but like some educational pieces that we can give to them to help them in their own businesses, to then in turn help us, if that makes sense. So we're really trying to build that community around that partner program, and actually really exciting. We're trying to bolster that even further. We've just been to the Association of Professional Dog Trainers conference in the United States, in California, to try and build that team even further internationally. So that was really interesting, speaking to dog professionals over there and how it differs, and it does differ quite a lot. So that's the team, and I see that very much. We've definitely got people that work for us, and one person I can't forget is my mum. So she's basically retired now, but she's still very much part of it. So when we do big trade events like Crufts every year, she's always there. She came to the States with us, so we can kind of refer to her those kind of questions about how the business started. But yeah, so the team is not just the people that I employ directly, it is the people that work with us in many different functions.
And I suppose, how different is the leadership skills when applied to people that aren't full-time employed in the business? So for those affiliates, they must have a vision to get behind, or they must have a perceived value in being part of that team, because they're not actually a paid employed member of the team. So your leadership skills do they have to switch and change for those individuals? And if so, how?
I think that what we try to do is we try to fit in with their individual circumstances. So actually we try to tailor how they work with us, or how they work for us, or with us. With us is a better way of saying it. Is up to them, if that makes sense. So they kind of pick and choose how much they want to get involved in promoting, being part of that promotion team of Tug-E-Nuff. So we will give them all the tools that they need to be able to succeed. So if they really want to full transparency, we pay them a commission. So we pay them a commission for referring their clients. So their ability or potential to earn money is dependent on how much work they put in, for sure. But we give them as much coaching and help as we can. So whether that's through we offer one-on-one calls to kind of talk through how they might want to market the products to their clients. We give them a portal that they log into. So there's lots of resources in that portal that they can download images. We're just about to upload a suite of blog posts that they can literally nab off of our website and put on their own. And what we also do is, when we're running marketing campaigns that essentially do interfere with the way that they refer their clients, we always involve them. So we always reach out to them and say, look, hey, we're running this campaign with our customers. Do you want to get involved? Here's how you do it. Because we really want them. So we really want to pay them the commission, if that makes sense. And because that means that they've done what we've asked them to do. And as I said, I'm always listening to what they want as well. So every year we run a survey to all those dog trainers or dog professionals. So it's not just dog trainers. There's lots of like vet professionals and behaviorists and dog walkers and people like that. So we always survey them. We look at what they want from us and try and tailor. We can't always do everything, but we try and do as much as we can to make them feel part of the team. They've also got a closed Facebook group. So within that group, they can talk to each other. They can, we put, content that they can then go ahead and share with their clients. Because as a business, we spend a lot of money and effort on educational content that we can share with our audience. And we don't want to be selfish with that. We want them to be able to use it for their own, to be able to help them out. Even if it's not directly connected to referring their clients to our products, can be used just for giving that information to their clients. Like, we've got a suite of ebooks that we give out for them to use and things like that.
So it's adding value to their business as well as an opportunity for revenue. Okay,
definitely. And I think that it's one of the principles that I've tried to build the business with, is that kind of we're not just here to ultimately we are a business and we want to make money. That's the harsh reality of it. But I think that if we're constantly just taking from people and not giving back to them, it just doesn't feel like a great relationship. And that's why we've always spent that time and effort in what can we give to our community and our customers or potential customers, for them to feel that there's value in what they're buying. And so we've always really strived to do that. We give away a free online course, so that's given away. It tells customers how to. It's not, in reality, you don't have to buy one of our products to get the outcomes in those videos. But what we're trying to do is give that information to be able to help them get the best out of it.
And where does that style come from? Because it sounds, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds as though you have quite an empowering leadership style. So you want to be able to provide the education, you want to be able to give them the tools, you want to be able to there to support them. Where does that come from? Is that learned? Have you seen that behaviour previously? Is it just quite innate?
I think that when I first started, and even now to a certain extent, I try and look around. I'm always interested to see how things work and how other companies run their marketing or run their promotional, how they gain customers. So I always look around and see, can we replicate that in some way? That's a great ad, or that's a great marketing campaign. How can we replicate that and give value to our customers? One of the things that I used to do a huge amount is watch other people's ads on. So it would be like marketing people's ads. So not necessarily selling products, but selling physical products, selling like digital products or courses and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things so taking that style of how you would market a digital product and put it into a physical product world. So, in terms of that, you would get a free teaser course, if you signed up to somebody's mentorship or somebody's, course. So how could we make that? But then the next logical step then is to buy a physical product. So looking at replicating that digital marketing for digital online products and moving that into the physical product realm. I mean, it doesn't always work, but it's definitely one of the things that interests me, and that's the thing that I think made me want to give up that job and move here. Is actually I thought that's that side of it interested me. So how the I suppose the psychology behind it, convincing people to part with their money and buy something that is going to help them, because essentially the product is going to help them. But that's really what where that style came from, is looking at those things.
Interesting. And thinking about leaders that you particularly admire, then, are there leaders, past or present, famous or otherwise? One of my favourite questions. Are there leaders that you particularly admire, and if so, what is it about them or their style that you like?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. So I kind of find myself not a maverick. That's not true at all. But I don't look at people in awe, if that makes sense. I try to look at them and kind of and look at the what they do behind things, so that makes sense. I think one of the things that one of the people, or not a person, that has inspired me a lot on this journey is my first dog. So, and that's a really cheesy answer because of the business that we're in. But one of the key things, and it isn't a mistake, because I don't regret it, but I think I jumped into it too quickly. One of the things that I was very adamant about when I moved. When I left that job and took this on, I lived in a flat. I couldn't have a dog, and I always wanted a dog. I've grown up with dogs all my life, as you probably can imagine, with my mum dog mad. At one point, she had 6 dogs, I think. So she doesn't anymore. But I really wanted a dog, and that was one of the things. Like, the caveat was, I'll move back and I'll help you with this, and we'll build this business, but I'm going to get a dog. And that dog, he's called Tiddly. He taught me a huge amount about my customers, actually. So the mindset that they're in, the struggles that they might be encountering, through different things. So a lot of our products are designed to help behavioral issues, or have fun, but at the same time teaching those behavioral issues. So things like reactivity and recall. So Tiddly has taught me a lot, and has helped me move the business from that agility world, because I'm not at all interested in that. I mean, I'll watch it, and I cheer my mum on, and I appreciate it, but it's not something that I would do. So Tiddly's taught me how to move the business from that really niche within a niche to a much wider audience, and that there is a use for the tug toys and the power of play that we talk about a lot, to be used in the mainstream dog training world, and just for people who just want to have a bit of fun with their dog, who just want that kind of, it's a little bit rainy outside, I don't really think we can go out for a walk today, let's have a game of tug as a mental stimulation game, or other things. So Tiddly has taught me a huge amount. He's now 11, I think. And now we've got another dog as well. He's not taught me quite as much. But yeah, it's a bit cheesy, but that's really who I would say has inspired me a lot throughout this journey.
Yeah, I don't think it's cheesy. I get it, and it's the perfect example for the organisation that you lead as well.
Yeah.
And it won't surprise you, we haven't had that one before.
Yeah, I can imagine for sure.
And thinking about your leadership experience, then, what I always want to understand is what can the audience learn from you, and maybe some of the mistakes that you might have made. So, are there any bloopers in your leadership career that you could share with us that the listeners could take something from?
I think that one of the things that I'm guilty of is not pushing hard enough for things that I am I'm confident is the right decision. So, I won't go into too much detail, but about 12 months ago, we went through some real reputational issues through no fault of our own. As the business is a family business, there were some family members that caused some issues for us. And, previously I'd pushed hard to try, and I could see this coming down the line, and I'd pushed hard to try and mitigate against that. But, I didn't push hard enough. And I think that's one of the things is I don't necessarily always push for the things that I know are right sometimes. So definitely being more confident. But, I have built that. When I first started this, I was not very, it's not that I wasn't very confident. I think that I used to always second guess myself quite a lot, and not push forward and take risks. But I'm much more of a calculated risk taker now. So I will look at things and go, okay, right, well, do you know what? We might lose a bit of money there, but it might be worthwhile in the future for us to do it. I think the other thing that I would say that I'm still not great at is building a better network of connections around me. So, this year after the issues that we had, that's one of the things that I've really strived to do is to expand my network a lot larger. So moving it out of just the dog training world and thinking about other people who can help me build a business, build the business to be more robust and more, can't think of another word, but more robust, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely a muscle. I think in terms of that sort of, it's almost backing yourself, isn't it? You in your gut, that it's the right answer, but there's definitely a process to go through to grow in confidence, to be more forceful about.
Yeah, and I definitely am now. I'm a lot more. I wouldn't say I was a pushover, but I probably would let things slide. Whereas now, I'm probably a bit more forthright, and if I think something is wrong, then I'll tell somebody I think that's wrong. But equally, if somebody's doing something great, and especially the team, then I'll praise them and make sure that they know that that's really what I want, because you're always gonna. It's a bit like dog training. You're praising the things that you want to see more of, and actually that works. And again, that's where Tiddly has really kind of helped me in this journey.
Yeah, fantastic. And so, but beyond the 15th anniversary or 15th birthday celebrations, what else is going to be going on over the next 6, 9, 12 months in the organisation that you can share with us?
Yeah, so we're going through a bit of a product development stage at the moment. So one of the things that I've realised is that actually our product range stagnated, and actually we were selling a lot of what we were making in terms of the product range that we had, but now I think people are always asking us for more things. They always want new products. They want when are Tug-E-Nuff bringing out a new product? Is the constant question I get. So we're really going on a mission to bring out more products, and more products that are going to appeal to a more broader market of people. So just people looking to have fun with their dogs. We are looking to do more business to business events. So actually going to a lot of dog training conferences. So I've just come back from a mammoth weekend of driving up and down the country to a couple of different dog training conferences. And again, that's another extension of those things that we do to outreach to those partners of ours, and look to find more that would want to come and work with us. So do more of that, because I love having those conversations with people. I love meeting our customers. I love meeting our team and that extension of our team. and having those conversations and understanding things that we can do better, and knowing the things that we're doing right as well. And that's kind of how we always try to evolve. So we've got loads of new products on the horizon. This year we did a huge tour of the country and lots of different venues. We're going to pare that back a little bit next year and focus on the bigger events. And as I said, then looking to those dog training conferences, and trying to do a bit more in the US, because selfishly I'd kind of quite like to travel a bit more in the US.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And of course, we've got crafts. Crafts every year for us is bigger. So fingers crossed, we're going to be a bigger, have a bigger stand this year. Have, as I said, those new products should hopefully launch at Crafts. So that'd be really exciting to show those off in that environment, because, you know, love it or hate it, Crafts is like Craftsmas, as we call it. It is, you know, a community of people getting together and over those 4 days, and meeting up and chatting and finding new things and yeah, loads of great stuff going on there.
Brilliant. And finally, is there anything that I haven't asked you yet that I should have asked you?
I think that's a really great question. I think that, you know, one of the things that that really yeah, that's a great question. We might have to think about that. But yeah, I think moving forward into the future, I think one of the things that I really want to do with the business is grow it into more of a community feel. And actually, I think that really, you know, there's some work to do there. I've got some great people that are working with me to do that. But you know, building more of a community. I mean, there's some great new dog businesses out there that have really thrived on that model, and that's something I think we need to try and replicate. We're trying to do it as much as possible. So I guess really that could be one of those questions, is you kind of ask me what we can do better, but that is really it, really. What could we do better? And that is one of the things, I think, building more of a community. And I really hope that the birthday party that we're going to do at the end of this month, God, it's not very not very far away, will help us do that, especially in the local area with us. But yeah, that's really, I think, one of the things that I would like to do a lot more of is community building.
Perfect. And so if there are people listening that are interested in the products, where can they find you? Obviously they can Google it.
Yeah, Google is probably the best place to start. So they can find us on Tug-E-Nuff, so tug-e-nuff.com. We're on Amazon as well, so you can find us there. But, you know, the best thing to do really to get a good understanding of what Tug-E-Nuff is and how we can help you in your dog or in your journey, or just having a bit of fun, is find our free online Power of Play course. So that's on our website. It's really short, 30 minutes of 3-minute lessons. And yeah, it's a really great place to start. So one person I have completely forgotten to mention, and I really should, and I thank, this is one other person that really helped me understand this world, is Chelsea. So Chelsea used to work for us. She's now got a great business of her own in rural Wales. But she fronts all our videos, and I'm really happy that she comes back to us, you know, whenever we need her to do more videos, because she's really great at that, and she's almost like the face of Tug-E-Nuff. So I feel a bit bad that I've forgotten about her till now, but I only saw her at the weekend, so
I suppose that's the power of having a strong vision, isn't it? If there are people that have exited the business and they keep coming back because they're still bought into the products and what you're building. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's really key to me, is that, you know, if there are people that I see that do help and are really useful to the growth of the brand, then, you know, I will try and stay in touch with them somehow. So, you know, Chelsea, you know, having her front and center of those videos is really key for the continuity, actually, so that when people are interacting with the brand, they're not seeing lots of different people, they're seeing that same face, because that is not my strong point. And I would feel, because I don't have a dog training background, essentially, I would feel a bit of a fraud doing it myself. And although, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, I have done some videos and stuff for the business or for the brand, you know, and I know my mum is not definitely outside of her comfort zone to be able to do that and put herself in front of a camera. Although I still think she should, and if she's listening, I would encourage her to give it a go at the next filming session that we've got in a few months.
We'll make sure she gets a copy of the recording.
Yes. But yeah, that's where you can find us, for sure.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for joining me today, Danny. It's been really good to learn about the business.
Thank you.
Learn about your journey.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really, really great. And yeah, thank you for having me.